Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Spendthrift Podcast. Alright, we're gonna just head right into it today with the Coin Watch segment. So, I'm sure we've all been noticing how things have been kind of on the downward slope for a lot of coins here and there. You know, Bitcoin's been doing the Bitcoin thing and been maintaining that yo-yo between 2,000 and 3,000. That was to be expected. But Ethereum has made a giant correction from its all-time highs. Mainly because those ICOs crashing Ethereum with no survivors and the GDAX incident all probably contribute. And I know some people claim the whole death rumor as a contributor wiping out 80 billion, but I think that's kind of exaggerated and kind of placing the blame on a market that was already kind of going down because of numerous other reasons. So Ethereum's down for now. Will it be down forever? Probably not. We'll just have to see as kind of the market matures. When all these incidents hit Bitcoin, it was kind of down and out for a few months. So kind of expect Ethereum to kind of sit there in the mid 200s to mid 300 range for a while. Unless there's some really, really big money that decides to enter in. Alright, these other coins, Sidecoin, not much going on there. I think it's still pretty up. Compared to a lot of these coins, it's still up. If you look at a monthly time frame, from last month to now. Same story with Ubiq, but with DGB, the story is not the same. DGB's rise and fall has been very dramatic, and the rise has been pretty interesting to watch, but the fall was even better to watch as it kind of just crashed down to a very old price that it was. Will we see DGB reach its heights again? It's a possibility, but I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I'm still gonna watch out for it and see if it makes any moves though. Then you have Waves, ARK, and then ICN again. And that's about the only coins, we're watching. They're good and they're bad. Not always coins we put money into, but, some of them are just interesting to keep up with. Hasn't really been active on this front because I've been busy with another project. But I can always give you the news that matters to you. Which, my first thing is a very hilarious piece of news to me. That Mark Cuban is basically promoting a crypto ICO because it's part of one of his startups or something. That's very, ironic to me, considering he was bashing crypto not that long ago. Just straight up smack talking it on Twitter. And now, suddenly, Mark Cuban has turned around and sees the money in it. And he's like, yeah, I want to be part of that too now. Not too surprising. People usually change opinions when money's to be made. Yeah, always something to see how easy people switch sides. So, speaking of money, there was also an article about how the overall crypto market can mature to a very, very high market cap. This market cap was $5 trillion, which is an insane amount of money. And $5 trillion, in my opinion, I wasn't expecting that. I was definitely expecting the trillion mark, and considering how we're only creeping up to the 100 billion, there's a lot of room to grow. So don't worry if you feel like you missed out, because you definitely haven't. But 5 trillion, that's even more money than I thought could pour in. Who knows? I'm kind of sticking to my 1 trillion for now, though. So, next up, let's see. The SEC filed fraud charges against a UK citizen for basically frauding investors to of a Bitcoin startup. See, I feel like we're gonna see more of these in the future because of this little ICO mania that happened this past month. But this is completely unrelated to that from what I read on the story. This is kind of a unique situation because since he was living in America and was using a false name to kind of showcase the ICO, since he was banned in the UK from being a director of a company. But sure, might be some kind of like extreme case for now, but I'm 100% positive that we will definitely see some more SEC stories pop up about how they're convicting someone of fraud or whatever else they can get people on for all this like security tokens, like the distinction between a security and a token, and like the distinction between like the coin being part of the company and the coin being like its own independent element. Like things get very fuzzy around that, but we'll just have to see. Okay, I talked about the scams. Talked about identifying scams. I've noticed that even now there's plenty of scams going on. Rather, they're the really kind of obvious ones that I'm kind of surprised people fall for, like the doubling Ponzi kind of thing, or these ones that claim they're some kind of like the multi-level marketing but with crypto, and they like come up with these convoluted things like you'll get paid, yeah, yada yada yada. And you see people still falling for that kind of stuff, which is kind of surprising. But there's also the more deceptive kind of scams that I'd say they kind of do it for the medium run of the medium con of getting people. And those are the kind of ones I'm going to point out. Not the very, well, what I would think very obvious, but the ones that actually kind of try hard to appear legitimate. You know, but protecting yourself from a long con scam that's the difficult one. You just got to be aware, but there'll be more next time. So Thursday, be there for how to identify scams. And with that, we're gonna move on to the next section because it's Mentality Monday. And we're gonna kind of cruise on in to a similar topic to prepare you for Thursday. And that topic is gonna be, is this too true? Is it too good to be true? When you're picking out your coin on Bitcoin Talk or some other place, are all their dev roadmaps too good to be true? Is that moon mission and Lambo they're promising me a little bit too much? So I think this is a reality check that everyone has to kind of have. I think it's very essential to have this reality check that this one coin will not always perform like Bitcoin or even perform like Ethereum or Litecoin or Monero. And if it does, it will be quite a while most of the time. See, I don't rag on people who think, I'll just buy this because I believe in the underlying technology I'm going to hold. That's totally legitimate. But some people I know kind of try to hop on every little moon mission that they think is going to go somewhere or has a promise. They think it's leading them to the promised land. And it's kind of a reality check for those type of people. You got to realize that even if you put in the research and kind of realize these guys are legitimate, it's not always going to take off. Especially when you go all in on one thing. It's definitely a high risk, high reward, and you have to realize more than likely they're going to flutter out at one point and not be the ones that kind of make it to the very top. I'm not saying you won't make money from it, because people even make money from obvious scams, which is also sometimes high risk, high reward. But I'm saying that not every coin, just by design, is going to be top 10 material. And, sometimes you don't need top 10 material if you get in the coin quick enough or early enough to say, really. Right, the early wave and getting like the top 30 coins and could get a lot of money from that. So, really, I guess what I'm saying is, you can believe that a coin's like underlying technology is gonna propel it to the very top, but don't put your eggs in all in one basket. Maybe select a few coins that have the technology potential to blow up. Because, if you have the money to spare, you don't have to do the safer options of Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything that you can kind of guess that's going to go up eventually. You could always toss into all those newer ones, and after you've done your research and made sure they're not scams, and just wait a year or two and see those results. But I guess that's a topic to kind of cover one day. Like comparing the coins that survived a year ago and seeing where they are now. I know most of them are probably dead. And if they're not dead, they probably have a little bump. Just because of last month's boom. But yeah, I think it will be a good thing to see. Like how much a year's difference can make toward coins. It's an experiment not really experiment, but something I'll look into. So, this has been a relatively short episode of the Crypto Spendthrift podcast in comparison to what usually goes down. Like I said, last time I was kind of busy with another project, but I do this for fun, and I know some people actually listen to me, which is kind of surprising, and I do this for them too. It's something to keep me consistent and grounded, and kind of like a relaxing thing to do after having all this other crap to do, So, maybe hop on the Discord, say hi, check out my trash website, cryptospendthrift.com. One day, I'll bother to design it. One day. And maybe, in the future, enjoy some content that I make for it, but not now because I'm too busy. But, there's one thing that you guys will always get, always expect Monday and Thursday, a new episode of the Crypto Spendthrift podcast. See you guys Thursday.